At the tail end of 2011, the unthinkable happened. Norway ran out of butter.
Norway has no butter.
We took a collection for our friends in Norway.
I wish I was selling butter now, because I'm selling cheese, but everybody wants to buy butter.
Tell you what, Norway, that could use some more butter.
What if it was you that didn't have any butter?
Heavy rains throughout the summer of 2011 led to poor grazing conditions and low-quality animal feed, leading to lower milk production and reducing supply by roughly 20 million liters. In addition, a surge in popularity of low-carb, high-fat diets in the fall increased butter demand by 30%, and heavy import tariffs set in place to protect the Norwegian agricultural industry made it economically unviable to import extra butter from other countries. By November of 2011, shelves in Norwegian grocery stores had begun to empty. By early December 2011, with Christmas baking season approaching, with many traditional Norwegian Christmas cakes requiring butter, panic buying stripped stores of remaining stock within minutes of deliveries, even in Swedish stores close to the Norwegian border. The butter crisis is first primarily covered by local media sources, but soon starts getting picked up in international media, being covered by everything from the BBC to Al Jazeera to Fox News.
I don't know what happened, but everybody wants to lose weight, eat butter and bacon and lose weight before Christmas, so they can eat more food for Christmas and even get thinner. I don't know what's going on really.
There is another developing crisis that has had little impact so far outside Norway.
In Norway, huge. Nothing to do with Greece, Italy or even Brussels. It's all about butter.
Norway's Christmas season might taste a bit different this year. The country's entire stockpile of butter, essential to make traditional Christmas biscuits and cakes, has run out.
There's none on this shelf, and there's none on this shelf. Actually, there isn't much of it on any of Norway's shelves. The country is suffering an acute and very untimely shortage of butter. For the shoppers in this Oslo market, the butter meltdown is no laughing matter. The whole nation is in a crisis, says this woman. With her friends, there's a discussion about using margarine instead. But it's laughed aside. Not quite the same for baking cookies is the conclusion.
People are trying now to churn their own butter right before the holidays. But one of the things, Greg, I thought about you is that they attribute part of this to a high-fat diet fad, and you subscribe to this.
Butter is the healthiest thing you can eat. See it in my book, Butter is Everything. I can't. It's in its 18th printing. But people are now.
You and Fabio, I can't believe it's not butter.
Yes, exactly.
I mean,
people are stealing butter, and that's because butter is awesome. I put it on everything, sometimes food.
But that's good. Yeah, that's good.
The residents of one of the world's richest nations are trying to make sense of this culinary crisis.
In Norway, we have experienced this autumn that the milk production have been much lower than expected.
But there has also been a wave of criticism against Tina, the country's most powerful dairy cooperative, who controls and regulates the market. To get butter, some are bringing it from abroad, like this resident, who recently bought supplies on a trip to Germany. Others are resorting to online auctions, paying up to 4 times the normal price. Norway is not in the European Union, and its high import duties are also adding to the pressure.
But Norwegians won't all be slipping up with their recipes. Long queues turned up when this Danish supplier gave out free butter in Kristiansand last week.
My husband and I have been on a low-carb diet for a year and a half, so it's extra hard for us to manage without this gold in the fridge.
I'm a chef in a restaurant, and this has been a rough time. We use a lot of butter, so we're really feeling the pinch. We can't use margarine to make cakes and sauces. It's a tough time for us.
The country is suffering an acute shortage of the dairy product, and with Christmas approaching, the timing couldn't be worse. Butter suppliers are blaming a recent decrease in milk production and a new popular high-fat diet.
They're also not so afraid of fat as they were before, and one reason for that is this low-carb diet trend that's rolling across Europe.
Norway is one of the richest countries in the world, but import taxes are so high that bringing butter across the border is not an option. The government is now debating a temporary cut in the tariff, but the flow of butter may not begin again in time for Christmas, leaving Norwegians rather bitter.
It was even covered by one of those weird Taiwanese 3D news summary videos.
Norway is one of the richest countries in the world, and they're willing to pay for their butter fix. The price of butter spiked at 80 euros a kilo on auction sites. A Russian butter smuggler was caught trying to bring in 90 kilos of contraband butter. While butter conglomerate TINE offer excuses, the truth is, Norway's neighbor Denmark is a plentiful butter producer. A Danish morning show is donating 1,000 packets of butter to Norwegians to help out this time of crisis.
But why did this story receive this much attention? Probably for the same reason that the Norwegian butter crisis keeps being covered in internet fun fact videos even 15 years later.
The Norwegian butter crisis.
First of all, it just sounds silly. But the similar Czech and French butter crisis hasn't received nearly the same level of attention. Some of that can be explained by the Norwegian butter crisis being the first one. But there's also the fun juxtaposition of one of the richest countries in the world having a problem supplying its populace with enough of something as basic as butter. And it's also fun to make the Norwegians seem like whiny snobs for freaking out about not having butter when there's still margarine widely available. And there might also be a political reason to keep bringing it up.
Eric, do you mind telling us how is it possible that in a civilized Western country you can have a
the richest one too?
Because it's run by a bunch of socialists. That's how it happened.
Yeah.
It's a socialist.
Right.
It's a quasi-socialist economy and government. And anytime you put that kind of tariff on a product, they had a tough winter. And add it all up, it becomes $500 pounds of butter.
You know, the one thing I will say, you jumped on the socialist country. It's actually Che Guevara's fault, but this is the highest per capita income in the world, and standard of living in the world is Norway. That terrible socialist situation.
No, it's not, but that's okay.
The highest standard of living?
That's
standard.
You said per capita income.
I'm sorry.
And also it's dark there 23 hours.
Can you imagine like the hardcore guys in prison? They
sure
turn
that's
to the other guy and they go, "Hey, buddy, what are you in for?" He's all butter smuggler. I mean, really?
Oh, right.
Behind bars
From Sweden.
That means something else.
Yeah, two guys from Sweden got busted trying to sell butter at a profit. Can you imagine?
Man, I mean, people get busted for cocaine.
Again,
I got the cheese.
Another country where profit's an evil word, just like here. Again.
After breaching into the international news cycle, comedians on British and American shows such as Have I Got News For You, SNL, and the Colbert Report also started covering the butter crisis.
What as butter crisis bites?
Panic spreads. I don't care what you think. Bitter butter batter. No, you're not the same bitter butter batter.
Except blatter bitter.
I'm going to tell you.
Go on in.
Two held. The Telegraph reported a sudden rise in demand has created shortfall in Norway, leaving Norwegians facing Christmas without their 7 traditional types of home-cooked biscuits. If you're watching in Ethiopia, I can only apologise.
A new fat-rich diet that has become extremely popular in Norway is being blamed for depleting the country's stocks of butter, thanks in no small part to Norway's celebrity chef, Paula Flurgan.
Europe is facing a crisis that cannot be ignored. Of course, I'm referring to Norway's crippling butter shortage. Jim?
The entire nation of Norway is now facing a butter crisis, thanks to a popular new low-carb, fat-rich diet.
And they have no hope of rebuilding their butter reserves, considering how long it takes to milk a reindeer. They keep flying away. And the most shocking part of the story is that they're going crazy over a high-fat, low-carb diet. Clearly, Norway has just discovered Atkins. How big is that time difference? With butter going as high as $740 a box, it is no surprise that on Friday, a Russian man was caught trying to smuggle 90 kilos over the Swedish border into Norway. 90 kilos of butter, or roughly the equivalent of 1 Cinnabon. Well, in their time of need, let me just say to all my Norwegian viewers, in your face, Norgies. America wins again because we live in a buttertopia. You cannot beat it fresh on the cob. I'll tell you what, Norway, that could use some more butter.
And it was in response to this that one Norwegian decided to upload a now infamous video to YouTube.
Some of you may know that we have a butter crisis in Norway right now. I have noticed that some of your comedians in USA are making fun of the fact that we don't have any butter products. Then I want to ask you this. What if it was you that didn't have any butter? What if I came home to you and took your butter from your refrigerator, and took your butter away from you on any other day?
It seems clear to me that this is a joke, but I'm not sure how many others picked up on this. From reading the comments, it seems at least some people took this to be genuine.
We all know that American people are pretty overweight.
In any case, it fed into the perception of the butter crisis, making Norwegians seem like whiny snobs with no real problems, and it is still being parodied and recreated to this day.
Do you know what this is? This is a traditional box of Norwegian butter. Let's look inside. It's hardly empty. Do you know what's approaching? Christmas is approaching. How do you think we feel? Do you know what the national Christmas cake in Norway is? It's something called lussekatte, pussycats in English. Do you know what the main ingredients in lussekatte is? Butter. Do you think this is enough for all the Christmas cakes that I was gonna make in Christmas? No. So fuck you, American people, because you don't know how it feels being without butter in Christmas time.
And I ask again, what if it was you who didn't have butter? Would you go ask the neighbor? Oh no, that's right. The neighbor doesn't have butter either.
Nobody in the whole wide fucking country has butter.
I will come to your house. I will go to your refrigerator. Your refrigerator. I will take your butter out of your fridge. I will eat the butter in front of you and your family's eyes. And I force you to watch me while I eat all your butter
that you were gonna have a Christmas Eve.
You will beg and cry and say, no, don't eat all our butter we need for Christmas. I will say, haha, not my problem. I'll take that empty butter, I will throw it on the stairway. I will go home. We are a country in need, and this is the thank. Thank you very much.
By January of 2012, the crisis began to subside as holiday demand decreased and international shipments, primarily from Denmark and Belgium, finally arrived after temporary tariff cuts put in place by the government took effect. But we will always remember the winter that had us going. I can't believe there's no butter. A huge thank you to my Patreon and YouTube membership supporters. I hope you have enjoyed watching this. If you did, leaving a like helps me a lot. And if you really liked it, comments and subscriptions helps me even more. Here's a few more of my videos you can check out, likely some other fun facts about Norway, as that is most of what I make. Thanks for watching.